What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another episode of our F1 2020 Driver Career Mode, episode number 14 today for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you missed our previous video in France, man, you missed a great show. It was a perfect race. It had everything: rain, overtakes, changeable conditions, botched strategies, and an unlikely winner in us. Our second win in a row, which is amazing. But anyway, here we are. We're going to invest in a major front downforce upgrade, which won't be ready until the Hungarian Grand Prix. So 2 races from now. So we've got a lot of upgrades coming in the next few races. And speaking of which, we got our tire wear upgrade in. So hopefully this will play into this race, because I mean, Austria is not really a track that has a lot of tire degradation, but you know, the more the merrier, whatever, because we're looking, I'm being ambitious today, guys. I think we can get our 3rd win in a row. But let's just look ahead to the race. Strangely, we don't have a weather forecast for this race, and AlphaTauri actually goes down in the performance index right above us. So that's surprising to see. That means Haas has made a lot of steps forward. Can't say the same about the real team, but let's just wait and see. But anyway, practice 1. Verstappen's not really looking pacey. We look like we have quite a good amount of pace. Lewis Hamilton actually is not looking like Lewis Hamilton at all. But that being said, practice 1, it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Like, this is just like everyone doing different runs, different sort of tests. So it means nothing. And in practice 2, as you can see, we take Gio's place in practice 1 in P16. We still beat him though, which I think is important here. But as you can see, the practice results, and practice 3, this is more representative of what qualifying is going to look like. And Max Verstappen looks like he's the paciest out of everyone. Leclerc also looks like he has a lot of pace around this track. Now this track is a very, opposed to like a Monaco or Azerbaijan, Austria doesn't require as much downforce. It's actually a very fast and very short circuit. But still, there are many challenges around some of these corners, as you'll see through our footage. Albon's really struggling so far. Like, the AI bump or nerf really affected his AI. But anyway, let's head into qualifying. And here we are into our qualifying session, and of course we're going to run a custom setup, because I really think I really enjoy these custom setups. And so here it is. Pause whenever you need to in order to jot it down for yourself, for your own, if you use a controller like I do. And of course I'll leave the video in the description from where I found it. But here we are on our first lap of Q1, and our only lap in Q1, and I'll explain why later. But we missed the apex entirely of turn 1, so we've already lost quite a few tenths of a second, and we missed the apex again heading through turn 9, heading through turn 10. There's only 10 corners around this circuit. As you can see, it's a very quick lap, and it's P3 for us. Pretty good time. But as you can see, those mistakes we made, missing those apexes, we go down to P10, and we stay in P10. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I realized that Q1, Q2, it's not really essential that we have 2 laps, because if we get a good position that's way out of the elimination zone, then we're going to be fine. There's no need to waste engine components or wear our engine down simply just to make up positions, because your results in Q1 and Q2, if they're outside the elimination zone, they don't mean anything. Gio is eliminated. He should worry. We don't have to in P10. But anyway, here we are into our only lap of Q2, and I'll show the full lap because this is our best lap. Here we are, very fast track around the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. We navigate turn 1 to one of the first of the 3 DRS zones around this track. So there are a lot of opportunities to overtake. Another one into turn 3 as we pass through the kink of turn 2. The run up to this is a great spot for overtaking. So be on the lookout for that. And here we go with our second DRS zone immediately. Heading into turn 4, another great spot to overtake, but a very technical portion, as you have to brake early, and we're going downhill at an angle, and we make sure we don't ride up too much of that curb, because it could really screw up the balance. You go on the grass a little there, heading into turn 6 right now, and heading to turn 7 into the quick chicane of turn 8. So these turns, like, you have to get a position exactly right, because a lot of these corners you're going almost flat out, so not much braking here as we brake into turn 9, heading to turn 10 now. hitting those apexes perfectly, riding a little too much curb on our exit, but open up on our final DRS zone, across the line. P1 at the moment. Pretty good lap. That being said, we do fall down the order to P4, but ultimately, we pretty much stay around that place. We're right behind the Bot-Verham train. And actually, on that note, Hamilton hasn't been looking very pacey, even in qualifying, so maybe he has reason to be concerned. But in the elimination, Vettel, Norris, Albon, and Ricciardo are big names that I see there. Albon completely being outpaced by his teammate, and Vettel, I mean, you kind of expect that, but Ricciardo, not so much. Those are surprising. But anyway, heading to Q3, we're throwing a wrench in our plans because it's raining right now. And if you remember from our last race in France, rainy races aren't a good... Rain during qualifying is not a good thing, so we try to wait it out. It says that it's going to stop raining later into the session. So we wait till the very end, practically, and it says it's not raining anymore. And it isn't, because they're making us go into a set of soft tires. Here we go, at the end of our run. Q3 run. Felt pretty good about this, but it's all about timing right now, because everyone will be going out on soft compound runs right about now. And it's P1. So did we just secure pole position? I hope we did, as we head into the pits. And, oh wait, did that number change? Please don't tell me the number. Oh god. So we completely failed to time that. Bot-Ham-Ver, Mercedes front row lockout again. So we went out way too late. Or too early, sorry. And we got passed by 6 drivers. So we've got quite a monumental task ahead of us. But unlike France, this isn't a track that's hard to overtake on. So we'll make up places, but it is kind of annoying. Let's head into the race.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. The grandstands were a sea of red in 2019 thanks to the commemorative hats in honour of the late great Niki Lauda, who took home victory of course back in 1984. And it's a sellout crowd once again here today. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Skip. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Stroll, Skip, Sainz, Ocon and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Kvyat, Lando Norris and Albon, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, Jeff. I mean, that's the plan. I mean, I'm hoping for our first win. But here we are. It's going to be a one-stop race around the Red Bull Ring, instead of softs to mediums. But quickly, as you'll see, there's rain forecast for the end of this race. So it looks like it's going to be at the very, very end. So hopefully we won't have to make a tire change. But we could make up a lot of positions there as well, if that happens. So here we go. Rain will be affecting the race again. Here we go to 5 red lights. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. Get a great start off the line. We pass Stroll immediately, and we're already fighting Leclerc into turn 1. We go really wide because we have to avoid Hamilton. Leclerc punts us off the track. Thankfully, no damage, and we regain the position right in front of him. Heading down towards the run to turn 3, to turn 2. Leclerc is fighting us. We're side by side, heading to turn 3. We take the inside line, and we're side by side. We're going right through the corner. Leclerc gets better grip on out of the exit, and he's already gained track position. But we turn on the rich mix and the ERS. We're going to see if we can overtake him into turn 4. Leclerc's defending the inside. We go on the outside. We brake a little later than he does and try to squeeze him off the track slightly. We don't want to be, like a certain Russian. And there we go. We gained the position. A monumental scrap with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. But look at the replay. We go in the grass in our first attempt to pass him. And as you can see, he just punts us right off. Our tire walls bang. And let's see what exactly happened. And you can see Perez, we go 3 wide into turn 1, and Leclerc is kind of like a pinball in between the two of us. He's in a sandwich of cars right now, and he kind of gets bumped by Perez, and as a result, he with nowhere else to go because we're also trying to get around him, he inadvertently bumps into us. So it really wasn't his fault there. It wasn't my fault either. I think it was more of a racing incident. But here's the overtake into turn 4. We're in the slipstream, and look how powerful the overtake is around Austria. But as you can see, I failed to notice this when I was racing, but there was actual contact between us, and I actually kind of punt Leclerc off. And as you can see, as I advance the replay slowly, you can see how as our tire walls bang and Leclerc is turning in towards the turn, he also, he's turning. Sorry, I'm not making sense, but here you see our tire walls knock, and I actually knock him forward. So as you can see, he's counter steering because he's basically heading right for the wall, and thankfully he's able to catch it. That's actually a really good catch from Leclerc, and we did get our fists out, but we wanted that position. Not very happy from Charles, and well, Charles is a very good driver, so I should be worried, especially considering his car is better than mine, despite the fact that the Ferrari in 2020 was a piece of junk. But anyway, here we are until lap 3. We're setting up good lap times, and I am just pedal to the metal, like not really thinking about tire management right now, because Leclerc is eventually going to catch us. As you can see, as he cross lines lap 4, Leclerc records the fastest lap, so he's quickly gnawing at that gap between the two of us, and he'll soon be in a position to overtake us. So we've got to be on guard. And here we are around turn 6. Oh god, I need to study track maps before I do recordings. Anyway, note to self, we can't navigate turn 7, and we take a really wide line through there, unfortunately, and we do kind of get caught up on the curb around turn 5. So kind of sloppy from us, which unsettles the car, and Leclerc is just gnawing away at that gap. He's running a perfect race right now. We're up into rich mix. Leclerc's alongside.
See some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Okay, gap ahead is 1.7 seconds.
Shut up! Shut it! Shut up!
Sorry, that was me me harnessing my inner Jeremy Clarkson. But as you can see, Jeff is just feeding us useless information as we're trying to fend off Leclerc. Thankfully, into turn 3, we're able to hold him off. I kind of do some stupid mistakes. I'm feeling the pressure from Charles right now as I kind of jerk to the left. I almost go into the grass, but I catch it. But that little move, that little jiggle of the steering wheel is enough for Leclerc to start to close the gap again. So here he is. He's in our slipstream. We're trying to break the slipstream, heading into turn 4. We break hopefully a little later. We go a little wide. I think we're starting to feel the tire degradation right now on these softs because of how much we're pushing to stay ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc's trying to come in, try to close the gap. He's right up our gearbox, but we managed to close the door into turn 6. And thankfully, nothing bad happens. We still regain P4. What a monumental battle. Leclerc's still on our tail. We go wide as I'm looking back, and I screw it up. Leclerc, we're side by side heading into turn 9. We go really wide. We go off the track, and we do kind of break track limits there, but we regain the position, and the steward said nothing. So, still counts. But let's dissect this battle. There's some long clips in here because just the fight is so amazing. Look at us. That mistake. And we kind of don't do a good enough job to break Leclerc's slipstream. We give him the inside line, and then we just cut him off. So, this isn't a good commentary. I'm sorry. This is so thrilling, though. Like, to have, a fight like this. I don't think we've had a fight like this in a while. Look at Leclerc. Look at that mistake. The tire degradation. I'm feeling it right now, despite the tire wear upgrades, because I'm pushing so hard to stay ahead of this Ferrari. And here, we're looking into, the track limits issue I do. But look how he comes up side by side. Look at that pace he has. I don't even think he had the ERS on. But, yeah, that was not a good move.
What the hell is he doing?
Yeah, so me and Charles are not going to be on good terms. And as you can see, my tires are being shredded. We're already at 38% on lap 9. And we're not supposed to be pitting for another 4 or 5 laps. So at the pace we're going, we either have to give up the position to Charles. But if we do that, we're not going to be getting it back. But heading onto lap 10, oh, thank God, Leclerc finally pits. Oh my God. So now we can focus on the race ahead, and Verstappen's the next car ahead of us. But Verstappen, keep in mind, remember if you look at the practice reports, he was very, very good on pace as well. And Leclerc out of the pits is taking the fastest laps. So it won't be any surprise if he catches up to us again. Great, as if I needed more stress in my life. But anyway, heading out of turn 10, heading towards onto lap 14, you can see how overcast it's starting to become. And my tire, like my front left, is almost at 50%. It is at 50%. So I've got to start managing these. Because if we're going to go a little longer than usual, well, we got to really be careful. And of course, with all the overcast conditions, I need to know if we need to go into intermediates.
About 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries seem like the fastest tire at the moment.
So Jeff doesn't really give me anything good, which means that we have to be very careful with these tires, manage them. We have to like nurse them to the end and not do anything stupid, because we're going to switch on to mediums. But if we have to switch to inters, we all got to time this right. And well, as you can see, I go on a little trip in the gravel, which shows how degraded my tires have become. But we're in the podium positions right now, because I failed to mention Bottas pit on a few laps earlier to go onto hard, sorry. And now it's time for us to pit, thankfully, because our tires are screaming. My front left's at 60%. And as we head into the pits on lap 15, look at how overcast it is. The rain could be coming at any minute now, but we need to get off these tires regardless. Like, we're not going to be able to nurse it softs till the very end. So hopefully we can limit damage. We can practice some damage limitation, or damage control. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. By putting onto mediums, and hopefully we can make them last, and hopefully we don't have to go in again. Slow stop from the boys, 2.9 seconds, but Leclerc's on soft tires. So the Ferrari strategy, the master plan, is coming out again, because like, why would they do that? If rain's coming, Leclerc's gonna have to pit again, because those softs aren't gonna last until that crossover period, if it comes. So why have they done that? That's so stupid on Ferrari's part. I mean, we expect that of them. But as you can see, as we navigate turn 4, the grip is there. Oh man, I've missed the grip. Heading onto lap 17 though, there's yellow flags ahead of us. So I wonder what's going on ahead. Something big's going on. Oh my god, this isn't happening. That's 2 DNFs from the Mercedes, and of Lewis Hamilton of all people. I think the last DNF was actually in 2018 at Austria. So, kind of poetic in a sense, but let's see what happens. Man, Mercedes is usually so reliable, and it's exactly like Bottas in the last race. Is the engine cut out, but no smoke, really. But let's look at his T-cam and see exactly what happened. He just loses power on the main straight. Wow, that's weird to say from Mercedes.
Lost power. Okay, stop.
So he's done that, and the safety cars come out. So we're going to be right up behind Max Verstappen now. So we could take the podium now with Leclerc in P2, and we could maybe even contest for the lead. I doubt it, because Bottas, say what you will about him, but that Mercedes is a rocket ship. But it's all about keeping our tires warm, so we can don't get caught out on the restart, because that would ruin our chances. We get beat on the restart. I've got to practice those. And as you can see, a droplet of rain falls on our camera, and there we go. This is the indication that the heavens are ready to open up. And here we are, heading on to this lap. We're going to
could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tire for now.
Sorry, I was checking to see if Jeff when the crossover period is going to be, because right now the track's not going to be wet for a while. We've still got over 10 laps left in this race. I wish I could do math on the fly. 14 laps. No, 15. 15 laps left. Now 14 laps left in this race. So, can we stay on slicks for that amount of time? Who knows? Meanwhile, Leclerc comes in because the Ferrari screwed him over. Man, it's so disappointing. Like, after that battle, he was showing so much pace. He deserved to be up there. But DRS is enabled, which means we're nowhere near that period where it's time to go into wet tires or intermediates, because when the DRS is disabled, it's a good sign to come in and switch to wet tires. But anyway, here we are. We're going to try to make a move around Verstappen to turn 4. Verstappen defends the outside. We're going to go on the inside. We bang tire walls. Heading in, we ride the curve, we go on the grass, and ultimately that just ruins our exit, and Verstappen takes the lead. A little over-aggressive from us, and I doubt from the Dutchman at Austria he's going to be very happy with that move we did.
What an idiot!
Yeah. He's not entirely wrong, because guess what, on the next lap, as the track gets wetter, we're going to do it again. We're going to try and see if we can do the same move. We can put up with the rich mix, overtake, and DRS, go along the inside again, but we ride up the back of Max Verstappen's gearbox. Not enough overspeed. We ride too much curb. So now the grip is gone, but rather than tire degradation, now it's the track becoming slippery because of water. So you would think I'd just be satisfied with P3. But I'm not, because we're going to do it again. Rich mix ERS and DRS. We're going to go do a switcheroo. We go on the inside of Verstappen. We make the move. We brake late, but there's no grip on that track. That track surface is becoming wetter and wetter, and Verstappen just passes us with ease. So I'm just looking like an idiot at this point. We're going to check the weather. And Jeff says not to come in. So we've just got to ford it out, basically. Well, I mean, being on a podium is still a great result, but I'm being overly ambitious. Those 2 wins have gone to my head. I want to win, but the track is getting treacherous. Like, we go way wide into turn 1, and guess what? On lap 26, I believe the same lap. I'll fix that and edit. We're going to do it again. Rich mix, DRS, and overtake. We're going to see if we can make a move on Verstappen. To go on the outside as he defends the inside line. We late brake, but again, no grip whatsoever, and Verstappen gets the better exit. The AI are so good in wet conditions on slicks. So this is going to be a problem. Rich mix and DRS on the mains, heading through the kink of turn 2 towards turn 3. We're going to see if we can make a move on Verstappen here. So much overspeed. We brake later than he does. It looks like we're going to make them move. Oh, wet track, yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of dumb of me. And just to, reinforce the pain of that, we're going to watch it from this cool aerial shot. You can see how far back we brake. Great move, and in dry conditions we would have taken P2, but because of those slick tires on the wet surface, nothing good comes out of it. Heading up to lap 28 now, and you would think I would have learned by this point. It's like, I've done this move, and I know it's wet. Oh look, it's time to switch. So Jeff, I think, has finally realized, if he really wants to overtake Verstappen, let's actually give him the tools to it. We try to go on the outside again around turn 4, and it looks like no, we didn't get it done. Although that was our best attempt at it, I will not lie. And, well, it looks like we're going to put on to inters. Hopefully, let's see if the extra grip will help us pass Verstappen. And the DRS is disabled. So, I mean, it is a clear sign that it's time to switch. And here we are, heading to the pit lane. We're going to switch to a set of intermediate tires. Unfortunately, Verstappen also pits. So we're not going to be able to get the undercut on him, which is unfortunate, which means we're going to have to pass him on merit. But considering how many chances we had to overtake him, and how many times we did get ahead of him, if it weren't for the lack of grip, I think we look good. And Bottas has embarrassed us. I didn't realize this at the time, but Bottas picked the lap earlier for intermediate tires, and now he's jumped everyone. So while I was talking about doing the undercut on Verstappen, Bottas did the undercut on everyone. Yeah. Not exactly looking good on my part. And as you can see, as we go through the laps, this has become a sprint race, a wet sprint race. We're setting up red sectors, and Verstappen is just way too far ahead. So you've got to claw the gap away now. Because I don't believe that while the track was ready for intermediate conditions, I don't believe it was exactly, because there still was a lot of dry spots.
3 laps of fuel remaining.
But heading onto lap 34, 2 laps before the end of the race, and Verstappen is still 5/10 ahead. I think about going up on the inside, but I mean, my wet weather driving, although wet conditions have been a factor in both of my wins, I still am not exactly confident dive bombing in wet conditions, and so we just play it safe. All the back of Max Verstappen's gearbox, and that was the race. So we're going to have to settle for P3. Still an amazing result, and Bottas wins the Grand Prix. So even though Hamilton didn't win, the Mercedes still finds themselves on top.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here at Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Yeah, great race from us, honestly. I mean, okay, I kept saying we were going to get 3 wins in a row, but I was being overly optimistic. Again, you have to remember we're in an Alfa Romeo, but Hamilton definitely helped us. I think if Hamilton was still in the race, we would have been stuck in P4. Undoubtedly so. Gio actually does pretty well, makes up 3 positions, but again, getting embarrassed by us. And if you notice, look at Charles Leclerc in P13, the man on P5, who looked like he had the pace to get on to claim our spot on the podium. He's in P13 because Ferrari bottled and ruined his strategy. Yeah, so really unfortunate for the Monegasque. And Vettel embarrasses him. The two basically swap positions, essentially. And again, Albon gets embarrassed by Verstappen again. So this is looking like real life, and unfortunately, if he doesn't get his act together, Red Bull might just pull what they usually do in real life. Replace him, unfortunately. And this is coming from an Albon fanboy, so... I mean, yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. But anyway, P3, great result from us, and for the team, ultimately. So we've made 3 podium places in a row. So that's amazing from us in an Alfa Romeo. And we solidified our spot in P4 in the championship. So, I think... And keep in mind, contract negotiation period is coming up. So we might have... Maybe I'll try and go gun for a bit for our team. Maybe a team will send an offer to us as we inherit officially P4 in the championship. Sorry, my bad. P4 in the championship. There's no 14 teams. And in fact, we're actually very close to Verstappen in the drivers. So we could get him there. And we embarrass Albon in our rivalry. So the man's got to step it up. There's no question about it. But anyways, thank you for joining me on this crazy Austrian Grand Prix. 2 great races. 1 race we won at, but was very boring. And hopefully you'll join us for the British Grand Prix. Now we've passed the halfway point of the season, and there's just more to come. Thank you for joining me again. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Share the video, share the love, and continue to be on this journey with me. I'm Isolation Gamer 05. Stay safe out there, and until next time, peace out.